G-Man Boxing. Do you know what I mean? Every single live he donates. I see him on other lives donating. He's got the bag on it.
Alright people, Joyce knocks out Joseph Parker in the 11th round. Now, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I done my final thoughts video yesterday, and I changed from my initial prediction of Joyce on points to Joyce by late stoppage when I seen the Joseph Parker weigh-in. But before I talk about this fight, and I thoroughly enjoyed this fight, mind you, let me tell you the reasons why I changed my pick to Joyce late stoppage when I saw the weigh-in. Now, I've watched Joseph Parker for many years, he was on my radar in about 2013, but it was really 2014 when I started really taking notice of him. Now, you go back and look at Joseph Parker in those fights, and yes, lower level opposition, I will take that into consideration, but a lot lighter, a lot faster on his feet, hand speed still there, explosive still, and when you look at Joe Parker when he stepped up through the levels, when he got the TACAM, showed a little bit of stamina issues in the 8th round in that fight, but got through it nonetheless. But from then on in was a lot more cautious in fights, not in terms of with his chin and stuff like that. He's never had a bad defense, to be fair, but he paced himself a lot more. Now, looking back in hindsight, you could say that is symptomatic of someone who doesn't trust their stamina. Now, when he goes and starts training with Andy Lee, and I rate Andy Lee as a coach, but bear in mind, he's in the Fury team. Now, what Andy Lee started doing with Joe Parker was almost the kind of Tyson Fury strategy, where it's like, you're weighing this, seem to be heavier. Now, for someone like Joseph Parker, who I believe his best weight would be between 235 to 240, to go, and that's it, and bear in mind, that's his natural kind of weight, to go into the 250s, a weight that you've never been in before, and a weight that doesn't suit you, if you've already got, don't want to say suspect stamina, but let's say you're not exactly, you know, you're not going to be Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker in there, you know what I mean? If we're talking about heavyweight, you're not going to be an Evander Holyfield who control punches a lot. The last thing you want to do is pack on all that excess muscle, have excess weight weighing you down, especially in a fight against someone like Joyce, who will make you work when you don't want to. And I said that was one thing Joyce will do. Joseph Parker, being as heavy as he is, Joyce will make him work when he doesn't want to, and that is going to be catastrophic for Joseph Parker in this fight. And it was. From about the 4th to the 5th round on, you could see Joe Parker was blowing a lot more. He was looking to do his own work. He was looking to set up Joyce for an overhand right, a counter right. But Joyce did take some, and he just seemed to just blink them away. But Joe Parker would move around and would try and just get a bit of range between the two, move around and just take a little gap around the ring. But Joyce would follow him. He would back up again the ropes. He would keep Joe Parker working. He would even pressure Joe Parker using his feet in such a way that it would, how would I describe it? It would take more energy out of Parker, because he's the one who's having to move around, he's having to feint and try and get out of dodge, than it does for Joyce, who's just kind of coming in. Because there's a way you can pressure but also make your opponent work when he doesn't want to without him even throwing punches, and Joyce was doing that. So the first round, cagey enough start. I felt that Joyce was trying to outwork Parker, but I think Parker just nicked it. But from kind of then on, I think was it the 4th or 5th round where Joe Parker had a good round, but every other kind of round it was pretty much Joyce. There was rounds like, I think it was the 6th round, where Joyce was really getting to Parker. I think it was the 3rd round where he opened up a cut. Well, he bloodied the nose of Joe Parker. He smashed the eye up a little bit. You could see some marking, and it just got progressively worse from there, to the point where the eye ended up getting cut. There was blood all over the ring. And it was just typical Joyce, systematically breaking you down, slowly, methodically. He's not a Deontay Wilder who's just going to turn you out like that, boom, bang, see you later. He's just going to break you down methodically. He made Joe Parker work when he didn't want to work. Joe Parker, from early on, the excess weight, you see, the reason why I'm critical of this, right, and look, I'm not critical of Parker being in with Team Fury per se. No, and I think Andy Lee is a good trainer, and I think he'll do good work for Joseph Parker. But people probably look at, I'm sure fighters have done this, they look at Tyson Fury And he went from Otto Wallin when he was in the 250s up to the 270s for Deontay Wilder, and we saw a big improvement, and we did. But you got to bear this in mind, right? Tyson Fury, on the comeback, was really exerting himself to get to weigh 255. I think that was what he was in around that against Wallin. So essentially, he was training in training camp to take weight off as well as his boxing, which is not good. You shouldn't be doing that. So what John Fury and Sugar Hill did is they said, okay, look, we're not going to lose any weight. We're just going to, what the weight you are now in the 270s, that's your weight. We're just going to focus on boxing, getting you razor sharp. Now that worked for Tyson Fury because naturally he'd walk around in around that weight. But Joe Parker doesn't. Joe Parker, I've said it once, I'll say it again, 235 to 240, max. Shouldn't be any heavier than that. If he's heavier than that, he was 240 something against Hughie Fury and he plodded all around the ring. He looked terrible. So you add an extra stone onto that, you're not going to look any better. So again, I wasn't exactly surprised to see Joe Parker blowing. I wasn't surprised to see Joe Joyce outworking him. My whole game plan for Parker was essentially use your speed, but there was no speed really because of the weight. So again, systematically Joe Joyce is breaking Joseph Parker down. Although saying that in the 9th round and the 10th round, Joe Parker did come back. He did land some shots. He was consistently landing uppercuts and right hands on Joe Joyce throughout the fight, and some of them landed very clean, but none of them had the effect that Joe Parker wanted. Joe Joyce, a juggernaut, he just marches forward. He's a tremendous chin, and he was able to take them shots. No real problems, realistically. It was quite incredible, really. And again, there was so many moments where Joe Parker, it just looked like he was wilting. Showed tremendous heart. Now, you can't take that away from him. Showed tremendous heart because a lot of guys would have taken a knee or found a place to lie on the canvas if they were jaded, they were cut, they were getting hit to head and body very, very hard. They would have looked for the easy way out. And to credit, Joe Parker didn't do that. He kept plugging, he kept fighting. But in the 11th round, Joe Joyce came out with a real point to prove, I think, in that round. And ultimately was a left hook which knocked Joseph Parker out. He tried to get to his feet. Steve Gray waved it off just as Parker got to his feet. In my opinion, it was the correct move. His eyes were glazed in his head as he went down, and he would have been seriously hurt, seriously badly hurt, if the referee would have let that fight carry on. There was no way in hell that Steve Gray should have let Joseph Parker carry on. Correct stoppage, in my opinion. And a very good win for Joe Joyce. Like I said, I picked Joe Joyce. I said it ages ago when they were talking about this fight. I said Joe Joyce will outwork him, but I thought Joe Parker would have, moments of success. But him coming in heavy, I made that final thoughts video yesterday. I said Joe Joyce winning this by knockout, late knockout. For that reason, he's just going to be too much for him, and Joe Parker is not going to have the foot speed to get out of the way. He's not going to have the stamina to be able to move around the ring. Joe Joyce would just outwork Joseph Parker and stop him late, and that's basically what he did. That's basically what he did. So, this is my thoughts on it. Let me know yours in the comments section below. I do occasionally, I do occasionally make sense on this channel where I see something and I say, nah, that's what it's going to be. And I'd like to think this is one of my better picks. I can give myself credit. I'm allowed to. It's my channel. It's nearly 10,000 subs. I think I'm allowed the odd little bit of credit now and again. So people, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. What will both fighters do? We'll talk more about that tomorrow. For now, lads and lassies, I'll leave you with that. I hope you enjoy your night. Have a good one, people. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.